Okay, students, today we're gonna talk about the brain in the lab, and we will see that what kind of elevations and depressions and marking on it. We are looking at the brain from the superior view. This is the left side, this is the right side. So the left side, the left cerebral hemisphere from above, with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessel removed. On the right side, the right cerebral hemisphere with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels intact. The left and the right hemisphere, and in between the left and the right hemisphere, that is a longitudinal fissure here, we can see here. So number one is representing the longitudinal cerebral fissure. Okay. We are talking about here number two, that is representing the frontal pole. Number three is representing the middle frontal gyrus. Number four is representing the superior frontal sulcus. Number five is representing the precentral gyrus. Number six is representing the central sulcus. Number seven is representing the postcentral gyrus. Number 8 is representing the postcentral sulcus. Number 9 is representing the inferior parietal lobe. Number 10 is representing the parieto-occipital fissure. Parieto-occipital fissure. Number 11 is representing here the occipital gyri. Number 12, as we can see here, is showing the arachnoid granulations. Number 13 is showing the veins. We call them superior cerebral veins. We are looking at the brain from the inferior view now. So here we got the left side, here we got the right side. So the left cerebral hemisphere, cerebellum, and the brain stem from below with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels removed. The right cerebral hemisphere, cerebellum, brain stem from below with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels intact. So from the inferior view, first of all, number 1 again representing the longitudinal cerebral fissure. Number 2 is representing the frontal pole. Number 3 is representing the inferior surface of the frontal pole. Number 4 is representing the temporal pole. Number 5 is representing the inferior surface of the temporal pole. Number 6 is representing the internal carotid artery here. Number 7 is representing the optic chiasma. Number 8 is the infundibulum, that is a connecting stalk where the pituitary gland is attached with it. Number 9 here is representing the parahippocampal gyrus. Number 10 here, you can see, that is a basilar artery. Number 11 here, labyrinthine artery. Number 12, the right vertebral artery. You should the left side, right. Number 13 is the medulla oblongata. Number 14 here, the tonsil of the cerebellum. Number 15 representing the cerebellar hemisphere. Number 16 is showing the occipital pole. Number 17 is showing the orbital gyri. Number 18 is the olfactory bulb. 19 is the olfactory tract. 20 is the medial olfactory striatum, and the 21 is the lateral olfactory striatum. Number 22 is the inferior temporal sulcus. 23 is the optic nerve, which is number 2, number 2nd cranial nerve. Number 24 is the collateral sulcus. Number 25 is the optic tract. 26 is the oculomotor nerve, number 3rd cranial nerve. 27 is the mammillary bodies. 28 is the pons. 29 is the trochlear nerve, which is coming from the posterior side. We call that 4th cranial nerve. Number 30 is the trigeminal nerve, number 5th cranial nerve. 31 is the obtusen nerve, number 6th cranial nerve. 32 is the facial nerve, number 7 cranial nerve. 33 vestibulocochlear nerve, number 8 cranial nerve. 34 is the flocculus. 35 glossopharyngeal nerve, number 9 cranial nerve. 36 is the vagus nerve, number 10 cranial nerve, very famous. 37 is the hypoglossal nerve, that is number 12 cranial nerve. And the 38 is representing the accessory nerve, with its also spinal fiber and from the cranial fibers. We are looking the brain from the left side with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels intact on it. If we see from the lateral view, so in the lateral view you can see here the cerebral hemisphere side with its lobe and cerebellum, and here the part of the brainstem we can see. So let's talk about number 1 is representing the Rolandic artery, because this is present at the central sulcus. So central sulcus, also known as the Rolandic sulcus. So the artery is having the same name, Rolandic artery. Number 2 at this place is representing the superior anastomotic vein, and it is also known as the Trollodes vein. Trollodes vein, this part. Number 3 is showing the superior cerebral vein. Superior cerebral vein. Number 4 is the lateral fissure. Number 5 is representing the inferior anastomotic vein, also known as labbe. Labbe. Number 6 is representing the superior cerebellar artery. Superior cerebellar artery. Number 7 is representing the basilar artery. Number 8 is the vertebral artery. Looking at the brain from the lateral view, this is left side without the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels. Let's talk about the number 1, that is a central sulcus. Number 2, precentral gyrus. Number 3, postcentral gyrus. Number 4, precentral sulcus. Number 5, inferior frontal sulcus. Number 6, superior frontal gyrus. Number 7, inferior frontal gyrus. Number 8, orbital gyrus. Number 9 here is the postcentral sulcus. Number 10, lateral fissure. Number 11, superior temporal gyrus. Number 12, superior temporal sulcus. Number 13, middle temporal gyrus. Number 14, inferior temporal sulcus. Number 15, inferior temporal gyrus. Number 16 here, the parieto-occipital fissure. Parieto-occipital fissure. Number 17, lunate sulcus. Number 18, anterior occipital sulcus. Number 19, pons. Number 20, flocculus. Number 21, cerebellar hemisphere. 22, medulla oblongata. We're looking at the median sagittal section of the brain, the left half of the brain. From the right side we are looking at it with the arachnoid matter and the blood vessels intact. Number 1 here is the colosso-marginal artery. Number 2, we got the pericolossal artery. Number 3, calcarean artery. Number 4, posterior inferior cerebellar artery. Number 5 here is the anterior cerebellar artery. Number 6 is the orbital artery. Number 7 here is the basilar artery. Number 8 is the anterior inferior cerebellar artery. Number 9, left vertebral artery. Now we are looking at the median sagittal section of the brain, the left half. From the right side we are looking at it, arachnoid matter and the blood vessels removed. Let's begin from the number 1. Number 1 is the superior frontal gyrus. Number 2 is the cingulate sulcus. Number 3 is the cingulate gyrus. Number 4 is the colossal sulcus. Number 5 is the corpus callosum, the body of it. Number 6 is the corpus callosum genu. Number 7 is the corpus callosum splenium. Number 8 is the fornix. Number 9 is the contate nucleus, actually the head in the wall of the lateral ventricle. Number 10 is the choroid plexus of the third ventricle. Number 11 is the interventricular foramen, also known as the foramen Monro. Number 12 is the thalamus. Number 13 is the massa intermedia. Number 14 is the anterior commissure. Number 15 is the pineal body. Number 16, the posterior commissure. Number 17 is the superior colliculus. Number 18 is the cerebral aqueduct or duct of Sylvius. Number 19, the inferior colliculus. Number 20 is a mesencephalon. Number 21 is the hypothalamus. 22 is the mammillary body. 23 is the infundibulum. 24 is the uncus. 25 is the optic nerve. 26 is the oculomotor nerve. 27 is the trochlear nerve. 28 is the parahippocampal gyrus. 29 renal sulcus. 30 is the pons. 31 is the pontine tegmentum. 32 is the fourth ventricle. 33 is the nodulus. 34 is the anterior lobe of the cerebellum. 35 is the parieto-occipital fissure, you can see here. 36 is the calcarean sulcus. 37 is the cerebellar hemisphere. 38 is the tonsil of the cerebellum. 39 is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. 40 is the pyramid of the medulla oblongata. 41 is the medulla oblongata. We are looking from the superior view to the cranial cavity. Here we go, the anterior, posterior side, left and the right side, and these capital letters in the red color representing the anterior, middle and the posterior cranial fossa. Let's talk about number 1, that is the frontal crust. Number 2, foramen cecum. Number 3 is the crista galli. Number 4 is the groove for the anterior ethmoidal nerve and the vessel. Number 5, Cribri plate form foramina in the ethmoid bone. Number 6, orbital part of the frontal bone. Number 7 is the lesser wing of the sphenoidal bone. Number 8, the greater wing of the sphenoidal bone. Number 9, groove for the anterior branch of the middle meningeal artery. Number 10 is the squamous part of the temporal bone. Number 11 is the groove for the posterior branch of the middle meningeal artery. Number 12 is the petrous part of the temporal bone. Number 13 here, the hiatus and groove for the greater petrosal nerve. Number 14, groove for the superior petrosal sinus. Number 15, the arcuate emission. Number 16, petrosquamous fissure. Number 17, hiatus and groove for the lesser petrosal nerve. Number 18, jugun of the sphenoidal bone. Number 19 is the pre-chiasmatic groove. Number 20 is the tuberculum celli. Number 21 is the pituitary fossa, also known as the sella dorsica. 22 is the dorsum celli. 23 is the anterior clinoid process. 24 is the carotid groove. 25 is the optic canal. 26 here is the posterior clinoid process. 27 is the groove for the inferior petrosal sinus and the petro-occipital fissure. 28 is the sylvus. 29 here is the jugular foramen. 30 is the foramen magnum. 31 is the groove for the sigmoidal sinus. 32 is the occipital or occipitomastoid suture. 33 is the occipital bone. 34 is the mastoid posterior inferior angle of the parietal bone. 35 is the groove for the transverse sinus. 36 is the internal occipital crust. 37 internal occipital protuberance. 38 groove for the superior sagittal sinus. 39 is the mastoid emissary foramen. 40 aqueduct of the vestibule. The 41 this part hypoglossal canal. 42 internal acutus meatus. 43 foramen spinosum. 44 foramen ovale. 45 superior orbital fissure. 46 foramen rotundum. 47 foramen lacinum. 48 apex of the petrous part of temporal bone. 49 the trigeminal impression. From the superior inferior view of the cranial fossa. Number 1, the frontal sinus in the frontal bone. Number 2, the crista galli, falx cerebri attached to the crista galli. Number 3, olfactory bulb. Number 4, olfactory tract. Number 5, the optic nerve. Number 6 is the ophthalmic artery. Number 7 is the internal carotid artery. Number 8 is the diaphragma cellae. Number 9 is the infundibulum. Number 10 is the anterior clinoid process. Number 11 oculomotor nerve. Number 12 basilar artery. Number 13 the vertebral artery. Number 14 abducens nerve. Number 15 trochlear nerve. Number 16 trigeminal nerve. Number 17 free margin of the tentorium cerebelli. Number 18 medulla oblongata. Number 19 facial nerve. Number 20 vestibulocochlear nerve. Number 21 sigmoidal sinus. Number 22 spinal root of accessory nerve. 23 middle meningeal artery. 24 trigeminal ganglia. 25 transverse sinus. 26 straight sinus at the junction of the falx cerebri and tentorium cerebelli. 27 is a tentorium cerebelli. Looking at the sagittal view, in which number 1 superior sagittal sinus, number 2 medial surface of the left cerebral hemisphere, number 3 corpus callosum, number 4 lateral ventricle, number 5 frontal sinus, number 6 optic chiasma, number 7 pituitary gland, number 8 optic nerve, number 9 oculomotor nerve, number 10 pons, number 11 sylvus, number 12 basilar artery, number 13 here margin of the foramen magnum, number 14 the cerebromedullary cistern, or also known as the cister magna, number 15 posterior arch of atlas for cervical vertebra, number 16 here dens of the axis second cervical vertebra, number 17 anterior arch of the atlas the first cervical vertebra, number 18 spinal cord, above that the medulla, below spinal cord, number 19 here fourth ventricle, number 20 cerebellum, 21 transverse sinus, 22 straight sinus, 23 tentorium cerebelli, 24 midbrain, 25 the pineal body, 26 the sphenoidal sinus, 27 superior nasal concha, 28 middle nasal concha, 29 inferior nasal concha, 30 opening of the auditory tube, also known as the Eustachian tube, 31 is the hard palate, 32 dorsum of the tongue, 33 is the soft palate, 34 is the nasal part of the pharynx, nasopharynx, 35 is the oral part of the pharynx known as the oropharynx, 36 is the mandible, in this picture we can see the roots, and see here from the 37 you can see here that is the root of the glossopharyngeal nerve, vagus nerve, and the cranial part of the accessory nerve. 38 is the facial and the vestibulocochlear nerve. 39 is the abductor nerve. 40 is the trigeminal nerve. 41 is the trochlear nerve. 42 the 42 is the ophthalmic artery. 43 is the olfactory tract. 44 is the olfactory bulb on the quadruped of the ethmoidal bone. Thank you.